It's time for Delivering Marketing Joy. This time we talk with RJ Hagel from Goldstar, and he talks about going global. This episode of Delivering Marketing Joy is brought to you by Goldstar. When you're looking for the simplest, most creative ways to buy promotional writing instruments, go to goldstarpens.com/DMJ to learn more and get your free Simplicity Starter Kit. Hey there, and welcome to another edition of Delivering Marketing Joy. I am your host, Kirby Hasseman, and joining me today is a rising star and a rock star here in the promo industry, RJ Hagel. He's the manager of global marketing at Goldstar. RJ, thanks for taking the time, man.
Yeah, great to be back, Kirby.
Yeah, that's right. Repeat guest.
Yes, I was just looking. It was about 3 years ago. So this is great. I'm excited to be here, and congratulations on keeping this going and building your audience. So
thanks, man. I appreciate that. I really do. I do. So you've just gone through a change. You recently took on a new role within the company. So first things first, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. And so talk to me about that new role and what that means to create sort of a global brand.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, so I started with Goldstar about 6 years ago. I was their first marketing manager. We cover U.S. and Canada. Mm-hmm. We had our North American market. And we had, at the time, a very young European market servicing, I think at the time when they started, it was UK, Germany, France, and Ireland, which is where they're based, and did a little bit of business throughout Europe. You know, as most people know, Europe is a big territory, but around the same size as the US. So when we think about our states here, they consider countries and how they distribute within their territories there. And so, yeah, we recognize a couple things. One is efficiency. So, you know, when you're going to market with similar products and a similar brand and two different places with two different teams, there's a lot of synergies that we're missing out on. And so there was an opportunity for us to combine our efforts and just be smarter about what we're doing and leverage the talent of our teams. Yeah. And secondarily, we see a lot of expansion with some of our distributor partners internationally as well. So we saw a great opportunity to be able to partner with some of these companies to give them a global presence themselves, to be able to offer the same types of products in their company stores, whether they're in UK or they're in Ohio. And so, we saw this opportunity a couple of years back and kind of started to draw out a game plan of what we can do. And this was the official year that we made the jump, and it's been a fun ride so far. So
that's cool. That's so cool, man. And it makes a ton of sense. It really does. So I'm just kind of curious, what are some of the first things you have to consider when sort of taking on a task like this? Because when I say it feels as big as the world, I mean, it feels as big as the world, right? So absolutely. What's the first thing you need to do?
So for me, I always kind of start at the ground level, and that's figuring out what you have today. So, it's assessing. I certainly know kind of where the strengths of our marketing department are and some of the things that we're doing, but it was taking a look at what was being done in the European office from a branding standpoint, from a product standpoint, and understand kind of the strengths of their team, the strengths of their position in the market to their customers, and getting a good assessment for where we stand today, because to me, that's the most important thing. The second is people. I'm a big people person, and I hope, everybody listening to this would agree that companies are made of people. We're not products. We're not services. We are people here doing business with other people. Mm-hmm. And so, I had a chance to meet with all the European team a few months ago and had a chance to sit down with them and talk through their goals, their professional goals, and what they want to do, what they're doing today, what their strengths are, and really listen and kind of understand how can I make their lives better, how can I make the company better, how can I bring us together in a way that we all work together in a way that makes sense. And so the first step for me, and I'm still going through it right now, is really the assessment of the teams and what we have. Secondarily, because we consider products part of our marketing department, was looking at their product line. There's a lot of similarities, but there's some differences. The German market has, a much grander taste for product and quality, and so the types of ink they're using to the fit and finish and things like that, and they're willing to pay a premium. Where in the United States, we typically like volume, lower prices. We have a little bit different mentality how we go to market. So. So it was really assessing where they're at today, and if we were going to go out to some of our international clients and offer product, what does that look like? I can't have an imprint area on a pen that we sell here in the US different than what we're selling in the UK if we're looking at putting together a global program. So we're kind of, again, looking at the product by product and figuring out where we can go to market and what we can offer, and still continue to go through that process today. But yeah, I mean, that's really the core of it is really getting back to the people part. So
that's awesome, man. I think it's one of those things where you hear about people doing it, but I don't always get a chance to talk to somebody who's literally living in the middle of it right now. And so
Sure.
I just wanted, where do you start? So I appreciate you kind of giving me some insight into that. Final question for you.
Sure.
You were recently named to the industry hot list, so that's kind of awesome.
Yes, of course.
So I'm kind of curious. I whenever someone's on a list like this, I always ask this, because what does this recognition mean to you, and personally? But then what does it mean to the company, Goldstar, as well?
Sure. Well, for me, I'll take this back about 15 plus years. When I was in my early 20s, we have a local publication here that does the top 40 under 40.
Yeah.
And it's all business people within Orange County. I actually live a little bit further away from Goldstar than some of our other customers do, or other employees do.
Yeah.
But it was one of those things where if I think people who are very aspirational in their careers, they're going to set some benchmarks for themselves. And so for me I like the concept of making it to that list, but what it meant to me was more about the recognition that I would get for the work that I was doing. So It wasn't so much that list as it was getting recognized in a public format. And I turned 39 this year, so I'm kind of at that almost 40 point, and it was really exciting to see that not only the recognition, but that this kind of was something that I could cross off my professional bucket list, so to speak.
Yeah,
and so awesome. For me, it was great to be recognized publicly for some of the work that I've been doing. It's hard for people to see the nights and weekends that are spent and all the stress that happens, outside of that. So to me, that's part of that.
Yeah.
For Goldstar, obviously, any kind of PR is good for the business. But what I think, for me, what I would like people to get through is really understanding our commitment to the industry, to doing good work, to offering great products and services. And we've got 5 or 6 people on our team that are members of different boards and groups and local associations. And this is just another kind of feather in our cap to show people that we're here to help and we're committed and want to bring a little bit of personality to a business that doesn't always exist. So yeah, I mean, it certainly is a great thing. I know you were at one point part of the list as well. So, sure. This is something we share in common. It's great. So
yeah, I was really disappointed when I found out it had nothing to do with my level of attractiveness. But that's fine. So you've answered my 3 questions. I give everybody a chance to ask me one question. Do you have one for me?
Sure. Absolutely. So I learned just recently that you got to meet somebody that we both admire quite a bit, Gary Vaynerchuk.
Yeah.
I also had a chance to meet him about 10 years ago when he just published his first book, and not many people really knew who he was, but I get the understanding you met him last week or in the last couple of days. So my question for you is, what does that mean to you? And did you get a chance to talk to him? And if so, what did you guys discuss?
So this is the second time I've gotten to meet him. So this one was a little bit more of a cavalcade. That was just so at this point he is literally a rock star. It is
Absolutely.
Actually kind of mind blowing, because I think, like you, I kind of found out about him when Crush It came out, and then the first time I really got to meet him was at an event called Business Gets Personal, and I really did get to chat with him. There was time, and I was asking him questions about personal branding and stuff like that. And what blows me away, and he did it with me, and then I watched him do it with other people, is that he is totally in the moment with you when, and there's a line of 100 people, and while he's talking to you, he's only talking to you. He's not looking at the person behind you, and he's genuinely trying to help. And he's also one of those guys who, you probably know people like this in your life, the person who can tell you the hard thing, they can punch you in the mouth about something, and you're like, thank you. That takes a special personality to be able to do that. He's one of those guys that go, hey, yeah, that business idea, that's not going to work at all. I love you. You know what I mean? And
Sure.
yeah, and so it was super cool. And every time I'm around that guy, he tends to lift me up, but I think he's one of those guys that lifts everybody up. So it was a pretty cool
Absolutely.
moment for sure.
Yeah, that's great. No, I would love to have the chance to speak with him for a few minutes and just at the very least just say thank you. I mean, he's been extremely influential in my life. I typically consume his content through podcasts or through at least a podcast app instead of video like a lot of people do. But he is somebody I listen to regularly, and especially when I need a little pick me up when I'm driving home from work one day and had a long day. It's like, Gary's always there to inspire me and kind of keep me going. So.
Well, and I'll tell you what, RJ, the interesting thing is literally, he loves Q&A, right? So, and every single person who asked him a question started with thank you. Like just what you said, it went across the board. And that's super interesting to he's showing us the way, right? He's
Absolutely.
showing us how we should do business moving forward. And so I think we all admire that. So
Yeah,
thanks, man. That's a good
absolutely.
question. All right. Well, cool, man. I think we made it through. So I think that's going to do it. We'll have to do it again sometime. Okay.
Great. I appreciate it, Kirby.
All right, bud. Once again, congratulations on the new position. And that's going to wrap up this edition of Delivering Marketing Joy. We'll see you next time.